Today we're going to be making Olive Garden's pasta fagioli from scratch in your home. So if you're new to this channel, my name's Jason. I do a lot of food reviews, some cooking, and some product reviews. If it's something you're interested in, please hit that subscribe button. Today we're making Olive Garden's pasta fagioli here in our kitchen so you can make it too at your own home. I used to love Olive Garden. I typically would just get the ravioli, but let me know in the comments below, have you gotten the ravioli from Olive Garden lately? I'd say within the last year or two. Seems like it's changed. It's more yellow than it used to be. Maybe they're using more of an egg-based ravioli. I just don't like the taste anymore. So really the only thing I go there for now is pasta fagioli and the breadsticks. Delicious. But I don't want to have to go there and spend the money on it. If I can make it here in my own home, win-win. Now granted, the breadsticks aren't going to be the same, but here in Muskegon, in West Michigan, we have our own garlic bread factory. It's just down the road. Kohl's, I don't know, they may sell Kohl's garlic bread in stores by you. We live right by it. We can smell it when it cooks. So we're going to have some Kohl's breadsticks to go along with our homemade pasta fagioli. All right, so there's a lot of pasta fagioli recipes online. You can find a lot of videos or recipes. And a lot of them are going to be a little different, but most of them are quite similar. This one that we're going to be using 1 cup of ditalini pasta. And again, I probably said that wrong. Let me know if you pronounce it differently. That's how I call it. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can use ground beef or say a sausage or something. We're going to be using ground beef in ours. So 1 pound of ground beef, 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to mince that up. 1 onion diced, 3 carrots diced, 2 celery stalks diced, 3 cups of beef broth we're going to be using. You could use a chicken broth, or I've used to make this recipe with just V8. I didn't use any type of broth. So whichever one you choose, but we're going to be making this with beef broth. 1 can of tomato sauce, 1 can of diced tomatoes, a teaspoon of basil, a teaspoon of oregano, 3/4 teaspoon of thyme, and then salt and pepper to season. Then at the end, we're going to add in some kidney beans, a can of kidney beans, and a can of Great Northern beans. Okay, so right now I got my carrots, my celery, and onions all diced up and set aside. I have my garlic, my thyme, my basil, and my oregano portioned out. I made my beef broth back here. I got that sitting back here in a pot. I am going to start browning up my ground beef in this pan here. Once it's all nice and brown, we're going to drain the grease out of there. I'm going to separate it, take the meat, put it in a different pot just to set it aside. I'm going to take my vegetables there. We'll saute those vegetables in this pot that I cooked the meat in that meat juice in there. Okay, our ground beef here is pretty well cooked up. Okay, so I got the ground beef all browned up. I got it separated into a different pan. I'm going to go ahead and throw my vegetables into the pot now. So we're just going to cook these vegetables in here, saute them until your onions get translucent. Then we're going to go ahead and start mixing everything else into this pot, and we'll be good to go. All right, so while I'm waiting my vegetables saute here, I'm going to go ahead and start opening up my cans, my beans, and get the lids taken off those so we're ready to go. If you look online for pasta fagioli, to make at home, you're going to come across a bunch of different recipes, and I'd recommend just trying to, if you make one and you're not 100% satisfied with the taste of it, try a different one. Like I said, you're going to come across ones that say make it with chicken broth, beef broth. I used to make one with a V8 instead of using a broth, and it was still delicious. So just try different ones and find the one that you like yourself. Okay, so I got all my cans opened up. Our vegetables are getting there, a little bit longer on these. So my vegetables are almost ready. Then I'm going to go ahead and put in my broth, my tomato sauce, and my diced tomatoes. We're going to stir that up a little. Then we're going to throw in our seasonings, our thyme, our basil, oregano, some salt and pepper to season. Then we'll put the ground beef in there and have it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then while that's going, about the 10-minute mark, About 5 minutes into that cooking, we're going to start doing our pasta. So we'll cook up our pasta back there to al dente. Then we'll mix in at that 15-minute mark, we'll mix in the pasta and the beans and cook it till it's heated up. And you're ready to serve. Okay, so our vegetables are done here. We're going to reduce this heat. We're going to go ahead and add our beef broth in here. That stirred up a little here. Got our diced tomatoes here. And our tomato sauce. Get this all stirred in nicely. And now we're just going to start whisking in. We got our basil. Some thyme. And oregano. We're going to salt and pepper to season. All right, we got that mixed up pretty well. We're going to throw in our ground beef. Okay, so we got that all mixed in there. Now it's going to simmer for about 15 minutes. Like I said, in about 5 minutes, we're going to start our pasta. And once that's cooked up, we'll throw that in with our beans, and then we'll just let it sit there and heat up for a while. Okay, so I got my pasta mixed in there. We did 1 cup of the pasta, and we're going to cook that till al dente, so it's just slightly tough. Then we'll mix it in the soup with our beans, and then let it cook to warm up. Okay, so our pasta is cooked. We're going to go ahead and pull it off the burner here and drain the water out of it. Now we're just going to go ahead and add this to our soup. Get that stirred in here. Add our Great Northern beans. Our kidney beans. And that is it. We're just going to let this simmer here probably another 15 minutes or so. Then we'll serve it up and try it out. Okay, so my soup is done now. I got my breadsticks to go along with it. Again, this process took maybe an hour total making this. And I got a big pot back there, probably enough for 10, 11 bowls of this. So let's go ahead and try it out. There's a close-up look at this. Quite similar looking. Now, obviously the carrots, if you get it from Olive Garden, they're more strips instead of little diced chunks. Really good. Is it 100% Olive Garden? No. Obviously, if we had the two next to each other, you'd probably tell a little difference. And again, season to taste. If you think you need a little more oregano, a little more thyme in there, whatever, season how you want. It's quite similar. Let's go ahead and try it with a breadstick, because that's the best part when you get pasta fagioli. You just have to dip the breadstick in there. It's like I'm there. Absolutely delicious. I'm gonna have some more. So there you go. If you're an Olive Garden fan, you love pasta fagioli, try this out. Do the recipe. Let me know in the comments below. Have you tried it? Do you have your own variation of this recipe? What would you change on it? I think it's pretty darn good. I mean, I'm really, really liking it. Like I said, I used to make it with V8. Bria, who is the cook here, told me to use like a beef broth instead. I was like, I wasn't sure, but it worked. It tastes delicious. This is amazing. Let me know in the comments below if you're gonna try this. And if you did, what'd you think of it? Get yourself some breads. You gotta have the breadsticks to go with it. Just dip them in there, get them nice and soggy. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a new video. If you got any thoughts out there, something you want us to try to make, recreate some restaurant item like this, throw it in the comments. Maybe we'll try it out. Maybe we'll try making it. See if we can get something that's similar. This is absolutely delicious. I'm gonna finish this off. I'll see you guys next time. I didn't know you were still here.